Hey guys, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about if you need to be still when you meditate. So we're going to be exploring the difference between sitting still and meditating and moving and meditating and seeing what really makes meditation. So that's the topic we're going to be talking about today. For those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, I did just want to give you a little update before we get into that. So if you haven't watched any of my videos and you don't need an update on where I've been, you could skip this part here and in the timestamps get into the rest of the video. But I know I haven't been on here in about a month or so. I did tell you guys I was taking off around the holidays, so I took 2 weeks off at the end of the year. And then unfortunately in the first week of January, we ended up losing our dog Macy. So I just needed some extra time off to process and to just take time for myself. She was my little Maltese Yorkie. You probably had seen her in some of my other videos, and I'm definitely very attached to my dog, so it's been a little bit of a tough time. So I just wanted to give myself some extra time off and not push myself back into work. And I'm very grateful that I actually have the flexibility and opportunity to do that. I know that not everyone has that when they deal with sadness and tragedy, but yeah, that's where I've been. And I just wanted to give you guys an update so you know what's going on. I feel like that's fair to you, and I'm really just so grateful for your support. And yeah, thank you guys. And with all that said, sorry to start this video on a sad note, but we will get into the rest of the video now.
Okay, so back to the topic of today's video. So is it okay to move when you meditate, or do you need to be still? And honestly, my answer to this question has evolved and changed over time. And I think this is because meditation is really an ever-evolving personal practice. Back when I first became a yoga teacher, I probably would have said, yes, you do need to be still when you meditate. And you might even find me saying this in old videos here on my channel, but a spiritual practice is an ever-evolving one, and I just don't believe the answer is so clear-cut anymore. So I thought it would be good to come on here and talk about it, especially after I have been practicing my own more moving meditation lately, because I've been having a hard time sitting still, and I still feel like I'm getting the benefits out of doing a meditation that has more movement in it. So if you feel like you do have a hard time sitting still, then maybe this video will help give you a little inspiration to still try to meditate. When looking at either moving in meditation or being still in meditation, I think it really depends on two things. So first, what's your goal of meditation and what are you looking to get out of your practice? So that's the first question you want to ask yourself. And then second, you want to ask yourself what works best for you. As you start to open up on a spiritual level, you'll learn that there are always multiple ways to go about your spiritual practice. So what helps me to connect spiritually or to calm my mind might be different from what helps you. Also, remember what worked for you, say like 3 years ago, might be different from what works for you now. It can change, and that's okay. So I want to share with you my personal experience in regards to this question, not because I think this is the only way. I'm just sharing with you to help you open your mind to exploring new possibilities in your own meditation practice or your own spiritual practice. You could take with you what resonates with you, and you can leave what doesn't. So like I said, lately I have been finding some movement in my own meditation practice, and I've been really honestly enjoying it. I was inspired to try this out after hearing an interesting idea on a podcast, which I can't remember now what podcast it was. I wish I could give credit to whoever said this. So in the podcast, they were talking about connecting with masculine versus feminine energy, which we all both have. But anyway, they were saying that when you stay still in meditation, it's really helpful for connecting with your divine masculine energy. And then if you move during meditation, it's helpful for connecting with your divine feminine energy. While I don't necessarily believe that sitting still exclusively relates to tapping into the divine masculine, when I think about it, stillness does have characteristics that are often associated with masculinity. So like structure and discipline. So this made me think about ways that we can connect with divine feminine energy. And feminine energy is fluid, right? It's more about that movement and going with the flow and connecting with our emotions. So if your goal is to connect more with your feminine energy, maybe it does make sense to find some movement in your meditation practice. And this is just an interesting way to look at it. It doesn't mean that you can't connect with feminine energy when sitting still, but maybe finding some movement in meditation can help if this is your goal. Meditation in general is working to really balance the masculine and feminine energy so that we can connect with this pure, genderless, divine energy. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but my thoughts are maybe we need both stillness and movement, and maybe this combination can help us to guide our minds into a meditative state, to connect with our soul and to connect with this divine energy that really doesn't have a gender. And I know this isn't a clear-cut answer, but this is spirituality. And spirituality is about being curious about what you're doing and being open to the exploration of what helps you connect with your soul. I might have a totally different answer in a year from now in regards to this topic, and that's okay. My OCD brain doesn't love this. It wants to give you a clear-cut answer, but this really is the beauty of spirituality. And even though my OCD brain doesn't love this, this mindset is actually really helping me to embrace the mysteries of the unknown. Those are just some of my thoughts that have come up when I've been practicing moving meditation. And again, I don't think it's so clear cut that if you're moving or if you're still, you're only connecting with masculine or feminine energy, but it's just an interesting way to look at it and a way to look at maybe it's good to incorporate both. Maybe when we first sit in stillness, we're more connected with the masculine structured energy, but then we open ourselves up to connect with that more divine energy, that genderless energy. Because I think once we get past that point of needing to keep ourselves in that structure of being still, then we can connect with something greater, right? Something beyond ourselves. So if you do want to practice meditation with movement, I'm going to give you some tips on ways you could do it. And I'm sure you won't be surprised that there's not one specific way that you need to practice a moving meditation, right? It's really intuitive, but I will share with you how I have been practicing just to help give you guidance and maybe give you a place to start. While there are times where I enjoy sitting still and meditating, there are also times where I feel I'm just more drawn to movement. And not movement in the way that I'm uncomfortable or I'm fidgety and want to move when I'm trying to sit still. It's more movement in the way of connecting with my body on an intuitive level. And what I've been really enjoying lately is just sitting while listening to music and allowing myself to move in whatever way I intuitively feel that my body needs. Usually it isn't even that much movement, and sometimes I still do pause in stillness. I just really lose myself in the music, connect with my spirit, and move. And you don't have to sit to do this. I personally do like to sit and move so that I stay connected with the earth while I'm practicing movement. But remember, do what feels right for you. There isn't one set way. I've been finding that moving in meditation really helps to strengthen the body-soul connection, as the movement's really coming from an intuitive place. And after I do this type of moving meditation, I still feel connected on a soul level. I still feel connected to divine energy. So I really don't think it's wrong to move while you meditate anymore, even though a traditional meditation practice is about being still. And I do think maybe you can achieve different states of mind than you would if you move. I don't think there's anything wrong with moving and maybe achieving a different goal or achieving a soul connection on a different level. And I really think the key is to be moving mindfully and intuitively. Like I said before, it's not moving because you're fidgety, right? So sometimes when we're trying to sit still for meditation, we find that we want to move because we're uncomfortable. And of course, if something's really uncomfortable or hurting your body, you can move and change positions, but a lot of times it's just your mind trying to pull you away. And in that case, you really do want to try to sit still. So when we talk about moving meditation, it's not like I'm trying to sit still and then I'm uncomfortable and I'm crossing my leg the other way. That's not what we're referencing. It's more about finding movements in your body, tuning into what your body needs. If you do struggle sitting still for meditation because you feel really fidgety, then maybe trying this type of meditation would be helpful. So trying a meditation where you're intentionally moving with your intuition can start to help you to be able to sit still for meditation. I think that's something you could definitely explore. So, what is a moving meditation good for? There are some situations where a moving meditation may be really beneficial for you. So, if you're feeling stuck or stagnant in your energy or in a specific situation in life, then finding some intuitive movement in a meditative state might be really helpful for you. I also have found that moving meditation is really good for boosting creativity. I found that in stillness too, but I do find a moving meditation a little bit better to get creative energy flowing, so I do use it for that purpose as well. And then the last benefit, which we've talked about, is that moving meditation can be really good for connecting with your feminine energy. So for men, if you feel disconnected from your feminine side, maybe you try out a moving meditation. For women, you may find that you feel more drawn to move in your meditation at certain points within your monthly cycle. So the more you really connect with the body, mind, soul, and tune into what you need, you'll find that you can really tap into your intuition and do what you need at different points in the month. Because women, we are a little more in a cyclical nature than men, just because of our hormones and because of our monthly cycles. So you might find that certain times during the month, you might just be drawn to find more movement in meditation as opposed to sitting still. So we've talked a lot about what movement is good for, but what is stillness good for? Because even though moving meditations are great, which I've been trying to get that point across in this video, don't underestimate the power of stillness. Although I've been enjoying moving meditations, I still often practice meditation in stillness. And stillness really helps you strengthen your connection with your soul, and it teaches the mind and body that they're not in control. So that's something that I find is really a powerful benefit of finding stillness. You're really training the body and mind to learn that the soul is the one in control and they're not in control. Stillness is also really great for receiving spiritual messages. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to connect with those spiritual messages when you're still. And if you're not so inclined to connect with spiritual messages, I guess we'll say, or messages from your guides, in general, stillness is just really great for learning to listen to your own soul. Stillness can also be really helpful if you need to build discipline. It might be helpful if you need to connect with masculine energy, right? Like we talked about, but stillness is also really amazing for tapping into divine connection. So once you get past that point of feeling fidgety or feeling like the mind is racing, so once you find that point of true stillness, right? So it's a little different just sitting still here. You might not be experiencing true inner stillness, which I have a whole video where I talk about that topic. I'll link it down below. But once you get to that point of that true inner stillness, then you can connect with that divine energy that is both the masculine and feminine. So there is great power in finding stillness. And I do believe that we all need to carve out some time for stillness just because our modern world is so hectic and fast. So I still stand by this, that I think finding times of stillness is important for everyone, but I don't think that every meditation practice has to be completely still. So the real question is, what do you need? What makes you feel connected on a soul level? And that will help you determine what practice you should take or what you should practice on each day. My meditation practice is mostly based on this, tapping into my intuition, assessing what practice will best serve me that day. So some days it's mantra, some days it's a guided meditation, sometimes it's listening to music and sitting still, and sometimes it's finding some flow while I'm sitting and listening to music. I have had times where I've set goals to do like one specific thing. So like I've done like doing like the same mantra for a month or something. But in general, this is mostly how I practice. It's really more from an intuitive place because your soul really knows what you need. You just have to tap in and listen. So I hope this video has helped you just be more open to exploring in your meditation practice, maybe trying out both stillness and movement in your meditations and seeing what different energies they unlock within you and how they help you connect on a soul level. My current belief is that having both stillness and movement in your practice is beneficial. So be open to flow and to change, and be open to the constant exploration of your spiritual practice, because it will continue to evolve. And that's the beauty of it. So thank you guys so much for being here. Last update before I sign off. I know my Patreon was supposed to be launched in January. If you listen to the beginning of this video, you'll understand why I am a little behind. So I'm hoping now to have that ready to go for February. I've already filmed some of the content for the first month of the Patreon, but I still have a little more content to film, and then I have to actually get it all together. So hopefully for February that will be launched, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button right below me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.